Today, I am ranking every single Star Wars movie on a tier list from S to F, S being the best and F being the worst. But first,
This video is sponsored by TTT Aesthetic, baby. TTT Aesthetic has the best, highest quality Star Wars merch around. If you're on the market and looking for some nice Star Wars merch, you can head over to the link in the description and use my code SWDD at checkout for an extra 10% off. And thanks for TTT Aesthetic for sponsoring this video, and let's get back into the ranking.
first off, we have The Force Awakens. Now, The Force Awakens was actually a good movie of the sequel trilogy. It led us all to believe that it was like a New Hope of the new sequel trilogy. It was an exact same copy of A New Hope, and I think that's why we all liked it, because it was definitely a New Hope copycat. But other than that, I mean, we got a symbol of who Rey really is, but we all thought Finn was going to be a great character, but he wasn't. And then we saw the Hitler salute whenever all the First Order troopers did the salute to General Hux. So, yeah, that was very cool and diminishing. And we all saw Kylo Ren, which was, we all thought he was going to be something cool, but then J.J. Abrams kind of turned him into something that was not really, no, just no. So, yeah. B tier. That's definitely a good B tier of the new sequel trilogy. Now, if this tier list went lower, I would put this in F because I hate The Last Jedi. The Battle of Crate is one of the worst battles ever in Star Wars. It was kind of like a Empire Strikes Back Battle of Hoth copycat where the Resistance just fled to a whole nother place, but that didn't really... The Battle of Crate was stupid. It really... There was so many stuff going on in that battle that was terrible. Literally, why would they get these old hunk of junk little starships that are on the floor but can't fly? They were dragging across the floor to go fight the Resistance, but then everyone at all the First Order troops were firing at them, but yet somehow they have all the plot armor in the world the Resistance had. If they didn't have plot armor, the First Order would literally straight up destroy them, but guess what? They have plot armor, and J.J. Abrams didn't really think about that. They would got destroyed in 2 seconds, because the First Order is way stronger than the Resistance. They really are. And then we have Luke, on the other hand, which Kylo Ren just stabs him literally in the chest, and Luke Skywalker dies somehow because he gets high off the Force, which I don't understand. Mark Hamill said it himself. Luke Skywalker died because he got high off the Force. High. He got high with drugs off the Force. How does that even make sense? And then before that, Luke was training Rey to become this new hope of a Jedi. And Rey's not a Jedi at all. He's just not. And then Finn dies, but then comes back to life as well. There's a whole bunch in that movie that goes on that I hate, that we probably all hate. So yeah, that's why it's going into D. So, along with The Rise of Skywalker. Now, The Rise of Skywalker is a little bit better than The Last Jedi, but we all know why we hate it. The movie destroys the whole point of what Anakin was. Anakin was the chosen one. He was the one to destroy the Sith. And guess what? Emperor Palpatine returns. So that destroys the whole point of what Anakin and or Darth Vader became. Became the chosen one to bring balance back to the Force, but guess what? Palpatine returned. So I don't really understand that point at all and how that makes sense. But you know what? Whatever. D tier. Now, let's get into the original trilogy. A New Hope. What a masterpiece of a movie. We all loved it. It was the first Star Wars ever, so I'm going to throw it in an A tier. It wasn't the best, but it definitely started something that was all true to us of Star Wars. So, yeah. A New Hope, A tier. Next, we have The Empire Strikes Back. I'm going to go and call this a masterpiece. Because it was. We saw Luke and Darth Vader. We saw what Darth Vader truly is becoming. And he is way stronger. This is probably the highest Darth Vader we have probably ever seen, after just right before A New Hope and right after A New Hope. It's the strongest we've probably ever seen, and we saw the kind of sort of the inner conflict in him, but not as much as we saw in Return of the Jedi. He met Luke. Luke was amazing. He became this nonchalant Jedi. Now he's trained to become one of the best Jedi ever, but he is definitely internal conflict. If he doesn't get trained to become this Jedi that Yoda and Obi-Wan wants him to be, he will no longer be A New Hope, and the Sith will take over. I also forgot to mention that this movie reveals that Darth Vader is Luke's father, which is one of the best pieces of cinema ever. It's just a masterpiece of a movie. It really is. So, definitely S tier for The Empire Strikes Back. Now, along with Return of the Jedi, definitely an S tier of a movie. It's wonderful. It really is. First, we start off with the Sarlacc pit. Now, That is probably one of the best battles, just short battles, that is in the movie, and definitely is great. It's short and simple. I just love Luke's little flip, because that flip recognizes something that Anakin did back in the Clone Wars, and Luke turning Darth Vader back to the light. He was the only one that could turn Darth Vader back to the light, and guess what? He did. He was great at what he did. He was wonderful at what he did. Luke was the best he has ever been throughout. Then the sequel trilogy ruined him, but this is the best Luke we have ever seen. Darth Vader was an internal conflicted character, but then he became the chosen one. He threw Palpatine down the reactor shaft, and he became the chosen one. So yeah, wonderful. Next, we have the Phantom Menace. Now, Duel of the Fates. I can go and tell you, the Duel of Fates was the best duel out there in Star Wars. I will throw it at it. It's better than New Hope. They're both there, but shots wise and battle wise, it's definitely better than A New Hope, because it is. It started off the best timeline in the Star Wars history. Duel of the Fates is the best, and it introduced one of my favorite characters, Jar Jar Binks. Jar Jar Binks is an amazing character, and it is. I don't see how people get annoyed by him. He's funny, he's great, and he's a wonderful character throughout the whole movie. He may get annoying sometimes, but that's really it. Qui-Gon, we saw the first time seeing Anakin throughout the whole movie. Anakin was a great character, and so was Qui-Gon. Qui-Gon was this great Jedi who didn't believe anything of the Jedi Council, because at this point the Jedi were blinded by politics and didn't really understand the Sith were coming back. They were too annoyed by the politics, didn't understand the Sith. They were too blinded. The whole fact. Qui-Gon had to train this boy that they found, which was Anakin Skywalker, who was true to become the prophecy of the chosen one. Next, we have Attack of the Clones. Now, that, I'm going to throw that in B tier. I don't like the sequel trilogy, so it's going to go above TFA. The best thing on that movie was the Battle of Geonosis when the clone troopers came and saved the Jedi. That was the best thing that happened in that whole movie. It really was. The Battle of Geonosis was the best. No other thing in that movie was really going on. We just saw love, relationships, and that was about it. This was George Lucas's love story of Star Wars. Anakin and Padme, they got married, they smashed, they have kids. That was really the whole point of that movie. Really. Most of the deleted scenes were about Anakin and Padme. Anakin meeting Padme's parents and all that. So, yeah. You know what time it is? S tier time, baby. Star Wars Revenge of the Sith. Do I really have to explain why it's the best movie ever in Star Wars history? Do I really got to explain why it's the best movie? The Battle on Mustafar. Obi-Wan between Anakin. The best duel in Star Wars history. Order 66. The start of the movie. Obi-Wan and Anakin trying to save Palpatine over the Battle of Coruscant. The clone troopers, we got big introduced into Commander Cody. We didn't see much of Rex, but let me tell you, this was the best movie in Star Wars history. It is. It's just a masterpiece, and it sets up for A New Hope at the end. It's a masterpiece of a movie. It really is. Next, we have Rogue One, the best Disney Star Wars movie there is. I'm just going to put it under Revenge of the Sith. And I will tell you why. The Darth Vader hallway scene. That is the best scene in Star Wars. It is. Now Solo. C tier. Honestly, I didn't really like that movie. I've only watched it once, and let me tell you, when I watched it, I got bored. They were trying to tell a story behind Han Solo, but it got boring. It really did. But yeah, there you go. There's my tier list of Star Wars movies on S to F. Bye!